Okay. So, again, welcome. My name is Kristen Tiggis. For those of you that don't know me, and this is my husband Tyler, and we are so honored that you took time out of your night to be here tonight. And this will probably end up lasting about 30 minutes. But we're also super honored because Callie, who shared doTERRA with me, is also going to be on tonight sharing a little bit of her experience. But just to start off right away, I want to take everybody back. It was 2014 when we first initially purchased doTERRA and brought it into our home. And we started out as customers. And I was really just looking honestly for a non-toxic fragrance or a smell to use in my home. And I was very resistant to the idea of this as a business. And Callie actually spoke it over me, talked about how someday this is going to be the thing that enabled me to be at home with my babies. And it has been that and more. So not only, I shared how I was resistant at first. And then basically fast forward, I had my essential oils for about a year. And during that year, a lot of people wanted to learn about oils and I was passionate about them and I had experienced them. So I'm just a natural sharer. And very quickly, I was like, Tyler was the birdie in my ear saying, you just need to like help people get them. And so we did. We just started sharing, and a friend and I had a class about once a month. But really, when we had our first son, Elliot, was when the light bulb kind of turned on. And I was like, why am I going to a job and basically using that paycheck to pay for childcare? And not getting to spend that time with my son and prioritize him. And so that's where doTERRA came in, and we got a lot more intentional. We moved forward, and then I was able to leave my job very quickly after that because of doTERRA. And as we shared with people, it was enabling me to not need that paycheck. It replaced that. And then we moved to Waco, Texas. And when we moved to Waco, Texas, we found out that Tyler had an autoimmune condition called Graves' disease. And there's a lot of details to it. Doctors were telling us that he was going to need to cut out his thyroid and do all these crazy things. And we did research and we found out that it's actually possible to reverse Graves' disease, but it was going to take a lot of intentionality. And he was going to really have to work on his stress levels. And for me at that moment, it was like, again, something flipped in me. And I was like, why is he going to this job that, yeah, he likes, but it's so stressful and it's literally stealing his health from him? And I decided then to kind of kick my booty in gear and work as hard as I could to get doTERRA to a point where he would be able to leave his job and prioritize healing. And fast forward about a year, at the end of 2017, that did happen. And actually about 6 months after he was home with us and we were continuing to do doTERRA full time, he found out his Graves' disease was in full remission, which was incredible. And since then, we've had another son, and we are just so blessed by this life that we get to live together as a full-time family. And one of our favorite parts is actually supporting other leaders as they move towards their goals and see the blessing of doTERRA as a business, and also the blessing that it is to be able to impact people with the products through doTERRA, which we'll talk more about in a bit here.
Yeah, just to pick up where Kristen left off kind of on our story. So I had transitioned out of my job and we were doing doTERRA full time together. But at the beginning, I was more focused on like healing and taking care of our son. And Kristen was kind of taking off with maintaining and growing our doTERRA business. And we were trying to figure out what are our roles, what's God calling us to next, all those kinds of things. And so I was spending a lot of time with our son, Elliot. And he was 2 at the time. And every afternoon, it was one of our routines that after his nap, we would go outside and play in the rocks and the dirt with his construction trucks. And it was perfect because right across the street from the apartment where we lived at the time, there was a real construction project going on. So Elliot just loved that. And every afternoon we would go out there. And frequently, some of the workers would come over to our building for their breaks to get a drink, to go to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. And we would just chit chat back and forth. And I will never, I always get choked up thinking about this. I will never forget this day. And it has shifted my perspective from that point on. Um, so it was like any other day. We were out, Elliot and I were out there playing in the rocks in the dirt. And one of the workers came over and we were just chit chatting for a few minutes. And then his break was over. He started to head back to his work, but he stopped and he turned around and he just looked right at me and he said, you know, I see you out here a lot with your son. And I just want you to know how lucky you are that you get so much time with your son. And I was really taken back and like completely, yeah, I was speechless. I didn't have any words and he didn't say anything else. He just turned and kept going and never saw him again. I don't know his story. I don't know if his dad was around growing up. I don't know if he has kids that he wished he got to be around more. But from that point on, it's kind of fueled me and shifted my perspective of this work that we get to do, and truly what a gift it is that we get to do this work together as a family at this point now. And now we've been at this point for about 3 years. We love this work. We love working with other people and helping change lives. But this business is portable. And one of the things that once the world like calms down a little bit, one of the things we are looking forward to is actually moving from Waco to London to help plant a church in London. Mm-hmm. And doTERRA goes with us. Anywhere we go in the world, we can take our work with us, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first thing that we wanted to kick off talking about a little bit of the practicals of what goes into a doTERRA business is starting with what it means for the customer. One thing that's really different about doTERRA than other network marketing companies is that 90% of people with accounts are customers. And so the customer experience is a really big deal. And this is honestly the only reason I was able to step into doing this work was because of these things I'm going to talk about. So doTERRA, their main mission is that they really want to take essential oils from this sphere of being all about, you know, stories and very anecdotal to very science-based. And because of doTERRA's quality, the quality of the oils, they're able to partner with a lot of research institutions and hospitals around the United States and beyond to get a lot of actual data on how essential oils work in the body. And it's creating a lot of validity. So doTERRA is able to actually, now they have 3 clinics in the United States where doctors are able to prescribe essential oils as an option. And obviously patients have that normal conventional option as well with medications. So it's really cool. The second thing that's amazing about doTERRA is there's options that are safer, cheaper, and more effective than a lot of other typical approaches in so many different areas. So for all the things you see on the screen, plus more, things for humans, things for pets, all the things. And then doTERRA also has a really amazing rewards program where customers can get between 10 and then increasing up to 30% back on their products. And our customers love all the free stuff they get. And also they're a company with a huge heart, and you'll really hear that doTERRA cares about being a business that's good for people on every single level. So the customer is of course a piece of this, but a huge, this is really where it starts, is doTERRA, when they get their essential oils, they get them from farmers all around the globe. And over half of the areas where we source our oils, well, first of all, they choose these places because the plants grow best there. So you're going to get a more potent essential oil when you source this way. But then when they work with these farmers, they're able to pay a fair wage to these people that are harvesting these plants and distilling the oils. And it creates a huge impact because over half of doTERRA's essential oils are from developing countries. And alongside their sourcing model, they have another arm called the Healing Hands Foundation. And the Healing Hands Foundation goes into these developing countries and will build wells and schools and hospitals and like do all sorts of incredible things. They partner with OUR for sex trafficking. Um, Lots of incredible ways that they're creating ripples from the very start of the business with how they source the oils.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing here. Um, as doTERRA went out and started sourcing these oils and building these relationships, especially with the distillers, we've heard story after story after story from the distillers that have come and spoke at doTERRA events. And one of the things that just like still blows my mind to this day, but the distillers, like a lot of these distillers, it's like their family business that they've been doing for generations.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget one time, one of the distillers said, quality was never a part of the conversation. Like purity and quality were never a part of the conversation when they were selling to other companies before doTERRA came along.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's such a huge deal. Before it was just volume and price, volume and price. That's all they were talking about, how much oil and for what price. But that's what Kristen is talking about here, is when you have, like, doTERRA is founded on the principle of having a pure, potent, consistent product, which is a huge differentiating factor
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to essential oils.
Yes. And they actually do over 11 different third-party tests that they pay for the APRC to do, and they publish those on their website. There's no other essential oil company that I've ever seen go to that length and then also be transparent in the same way that doTERRA has. So this is my favorite part. This is what I personally am addicted to. And I'm just going to kind of rapid fire through these. I took like about an hour and went through our Facebook community where a lot of our customers and leaders are. And I just screenshotted a very small assortment of some of the testimonies from these customers. So first, it starts with doTERRA creates really amazing like natural cleaning and natural hygiene products. People like rave about how well they work in so many different facets. I love like reading like a testimony like this where she's talking about freedom to be able to use natural products instead of chemical alternatives, and how she's able to actually see results instead of questioning over-the-counter medications. This person got off an inhaler and steroids literally in her first use of doTERRA Breathe is the blend. This woman calls it a lifeline. She talks about feeling skeptical and now she's sold. I can just go on and on. This person talks about having freedom from a lot of different medications. And I'll tell you that actually a lot of these that I selected are testimonies that are not my personal customers. They're like customers that have enrolled with my leaders or my leaders' leaders. So this girl I actually went to college with, Andrea, and she shared doTERRA with this mama, and she saw a radical shift in her first time using an allergy combo on her daughter. This girl saw a powerful test with her platelets. This mama talks about her 7th grader with homework and test anxiety. It just like literally, I can keep going and going. This last mama, I just flipped past it, but this is actually one of my customers. She's a nurse and now a missionary mama in Africa. And she had mastitis for the first time. And when she Googled what to do, she didn't have access to the things she normally would have grabbed. So she used her essential oils, and within 2 days, her mastitis was gone. Crohn's testimonies. This mama, her son had been kicked out of 9 different school programs because of different diagnoses. And she's actually crying in this picture. I get emotional when I think about Kim because of the shifts that they've experienced with her son. And he's actually now in a normal classroom because of their doTERRA essential oils and the supplements. And then this woman right here shares about her thyroid numbers stabilizing with a doTERRA blend. The person that shared with her is actually one of my closest friends, Melissa Christopher. And Melissa was actually the very first person I ever shared doTERRA with. Callie, who you'll hear from in a second, helped me tell Melissa what to do for this little girl when she was just a baby. She was like a passy baby and had a lingering cough that affected everyone in the home. They couldn't sleep because the coughing would make the passy go out, and then they'd have to go put the passy back in. And anyways, Breathe Diffuse literally helped her daughter to sleep through the night for the first time in a month. And Melissa is now a leader, a top leader on our team because she's chosen to do that. She's created so many different ripples with her sister-in-law and so many others. So really in this business, in this work, the gift that we share is summed up so eloquently by my friend Kyla. She is a customer on our team. And she talks about how she's confident in natural remedies and no longer fears illness as a mama because of what doTERRA has done for her. And that is our goal every time we share doTERRA, is to help our customers get to this point.
Yeah, and from a business perspective, when we see a testimony like this was just like unsolicited. She sent us this. And when we hear this, we're like, okay, like we're in a good place when our customers are like, I want these products, I need these products. I would be sad if I don't have these products in my home. So like Kristen said, this is our goal, is to empower people to feel confident in using what we're providing to benefit their lives. And it also, from a business perspective, creates sustainability and consistency.
Yeah. So really the gift that we get in return as leaders in this business is what Melissa talks about here. A successful doTERRA business for my family means purpose, freedom, financial stability, and a platform that is opening up dreams we didn't know we can dream. So I wanted to now introduce you to Callie. She's the person that very first shared doTERRA with me, and I know her from way back. I think it's been like 7 or 8 years now that we've known each other. We met through a chiropractic franchise that we used to work for. She was in Alabama, I was in South Dakota, and we went to trainings, and that's where we met each other. And yeah, I'm so excited for you to get to hear from her tonight.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you. I'm glad to be here with Kristen and Tyler. We have become really great friends in getting to do this together. And I would say that's one of my favorite things about doTERRA. I mean, obviously, we all get interested in doTERRA for different reasons. Mine was because we needed help for my son, who you see in these pictures. I'm looking over here because they were on my big screen, but that's why I got interested as a customer. And ultimately, you should know, I would be involved in doTERRA for that one reason, even if I never made a dime, even if I never was able to help anyone else. But I wanted to share, so you see on this screen, pictures of the things that doTERRA has enabled to do. One, because we are healthy. And that is the bottom line. Like, what's the point of having lots of money or lots of time if you're not healthy and able to enjoy it? And so we're healthy and able to enjoy it. But I think the biggest thing, when I think about the opportunities that doTERRA has given us, it is the ability to structure our time together as a family and do what we think is important. We love to be outdoors together. We love to ride horses. Our son is a swimmer. We're able to go to every one of his meets. Both of us, mom and dad, are able to. My husband is a beekeeper. They like to deep sea fish. I like to lay out on the beach. So we're just able to do lots of fun things together. And really one of the biggest things, two of the biggest things that we've been able to do, and I would say, even just for our marriage, I can't just say, okay, doTERRA is going to heal all of your marriage problems. But I can say this. One of the biggest issues in our marriage was that my husband always felt like he had to say yes to his work and no to his family. And now that's just not the case. He can relax sometimes. I mean, he still is a work person. He enjoys what he does. So he has not left what he does. I know Tyler and Kristen have a different story. My husband still is kind of living the dream with his work, but he is able to like shut it off sometimes and come home. But two things we've been able to do. One is start Sanctuary Hill Stables, which has been a dream for my husband. And so we're able to do that. We were able to buy more land and a big barn and build out that barn. You see the inside of that barn, my husband and my son and my dad did together. And then the other big thing that we have been able to do is buy another house in town so that our son can go to school and really compete with these other swimmers. And so I would say the biggest opportunity for us is the ability to say yes to family and time with family.
Sorry, guys. I had myself muted. I'm like, how do I fix it? Okay.
Thank you for sharing that,
Yes.
Callie. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more detailed, but don't worry, not too detailed. There's a lot of information on this page. You can either take a picture of this, or we're recording this too. So if you want to come back to this, you can. Or if you want to just Google, this information is out there on the interwebs. You can just Google doTERRA Build Guide US. Make sure you put the US in there. doTERRA Build Guide US. And this is like page 4 or something like that. So I personally love to see numbers and charts. I'm geared that way. I'm an Enneagram 5. I'm a recovering staff accountant for a real estate development company. So anyway, I love seeing this stuff, but I will just walk you through a few. So this is like, in a nutshell, doTERRA's compensation plan. Really what it boils down to is doTERRA goes out all over the globe, finds, trains, sources. There's a lot that goes into sourcing when we say sourcing, but they source the best, most high quality ingredients and products from around the globe. They bring them back here, they manufacture them, and they make them look pretty. And then they pay us, people like us, to teach and to sell them. That's really the way it goes. So the way that they pay us is here on the screen. And on this right side, I just want to briefly explain what some of these pieces are. There's 4 main ways that doTERRA pays us, and these are cumulative. You can look over here and see like there's pieces of each of these 4 ways. Depending on rank, they change and they grow or whatever, but they're cumulative. So it's not like this or this or this. They build on one another. So fast start, the power of 3 bonus, unilevel bonus, leadership bonus. And you can see these different ranks, all these rank names are just names for different growth points. Or you can consider it your career track in doTERRA. But they're just a way to measure the size of your business. And down here we have elite all the way up to presidential diamond, but there are no limits in doTERRA. If you get to presidential diamond and you want to keep going, you can keep going. doTERRA doesn't set any limits on us. I also want to say that you get to choose your own path. If you want to make between a few hundred up to $1,000 a month to supplement your income, or just to pay for the products you're buying from doTERRA, that's totally great. If you want to go for one of these more middle-sized ranks to supplement your income, or maybe what we've seen a lot of times on our team is like we have a woman that has retired early because she's built a doTERRA business. We have moms that are staying home with kids, but still like fulfilling a purpose need that they have while they're at home with doTERRA, and doTERRA makes it easier for them to make that decision. All the way up to, so we're the rank of diamond, and we're going for blue diamond. We still have big goals. We still want to grow. But I also want to explain these little letters under the big letters. So what I love about this business, and I'm going to show you how this works in a second. One of the things I love about this business is that we cannot be successful, or I should say the way we get successful, the way we become successful in this business is by helping other people be successful. And I don't think I would want it any other way. So to be the rank of diamond, each of these 4 S's down here stands for silver, which is right here. So to get to the rank of diamond, you have to help 4 people build to the rank of silver. And silver, you see these 3 E's. If you want to be silver, you need to have help 3 people get to the rank of elite. So that's kind of how you continue to grow in this business. But a few things that I just want to, so two things that I want you to really take away from this screen right here is first, doTERRA's compensation plan is generous. Like I said, I'm a former accountant. I had a finance degree. I just really like numbers and I like researching. And I've looked at not every other company, but I've looked at a few other companies, and the payout, like what doTERRA pays us, is much better, and the potential is much greater than a lot of other companies I've looked at. Every other company that I've seen, the way that they structure their compensation plan is so much better than other companies I've seen. And I'm completely willing to have a conversation about any other company's compensation plan and like compare, because I feel so confident about doTERRA's. The second thing I want to say about doTERRA's compensation plan is they've designed it in every way possible. They've designed it in a way to facilitate collaboration versus competition. And that's not normal in the industry. Like what I just described with the ranks is one example. This unilevel bonus, the way that they've structured the percentages, is another example. The entire idea of the power of three bonus is another example. Yeah. Anyway, there's just lots of different ways where we are incentivized to help the people on our team, which just makes sense, but it's not normal. So those are a few reasons why we love the compensation plan. And this, so the dollar amounts that you saw on the previous screen, those are averages for each rank. Those are averages based on everyone that's been hitting those ranks. This is an actual, so this is a chart of our actual revenue from beginning in January 2015 up through, I think I put through December. So through last month.
And we share this because I still remember at the very beginning, Callie was already Diamond, and she shared her own path and what that had looked like financially for her. And that was just a inspiring moment for us, because we're like, wow, you're like a normal person and you're really successful in this. And it was really inspiring because we're like, oh, okay, so we can maybe do this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it started for us.
Yeah. And one thing I want to just point out is, so this past almost 12 months, right, has been a pandemic. I think everyone is aware of that. And the reason we titled this, I don't know if you mentioned this at the beginning, but we're like, what do we call this presentation? We thought, well, health plus, the reason we came up with health plus income is because when you choose to partner with doTERRA, those are the two benefits that you get. You obviously, like Callie alluded to and talked about, you are supported in every way through in your physical health, emotional, mental health, when you're partnering with doTERRA. And also as you're sharing that gift, doTERRA's compensation plan comes through. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. A big thing, I'm not going to talk about all of these. The biggest thing I want to talk about is retention. So any business owner, whether it's brick and mortar, online, any kind of business, one of the things that they're going for the most is retention, right? It's easier to get a current customer to continue buying than it is to go and find a new customer. And doTERRA owns the market on retention. Kristen talked about their rewards program a little bit. There's lots of reasons why retention is really great. But doTERRA's average retention rate is 65%, whereas the industry average is 13%. And when we're talking about residual income, consistency, stability in a business, retention is where it's at. There's so many things I could share here about why doTERRA, why now. We've already talked about the product is amazing. The company is debt-free. The company culture is one of giving back, one of making sure the business is good for everyone on every level of the business. The compensation plan is solid. A question we get a lot about is saturation and about growth potential. And in the US, doTERRA is a $1 billion company. It's between $1 billion and $2 billion. I don't know where. So it's been around. I view it as it's proven. It's proven. People love the products. And what I see and what I've seen numbers on, there's a company called Verify Markets that looks into all the trends and all the growth and all the percentages, all that stuff. But the essential oil industry is still in its growth phase. And doTERRA is the leader in that market. They took over as the leader a couple of years ago. But still, there is no metro area in the US with greater than 4% of the households having a doTERRA membership. And there's been surveys and studies done on name recognition and all those things. And doTERRA is still very much growing, still very much in its infancy compared to what I see as possible. And the health trends, the broader health trends are moving ever more towards natural products, people being more aware and choosing more clean products, clean ingredients, and doTERRA is great at that. Kristen talked about the way that they set themselves apart with the purity and the potency and the testing and the partnerships with hospitals and research institutions. Not only is the essential oil industry growing, like the revenue of the entire industry is growing, doTERRA is gaining a bigger percentage of that industry and also taking market share away from other industries. One in particular, the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
And like we already said about the pandemic, it offers a consistent, reliable income and flexibility at the same time.
So we've gotten a lot of questions over time what the work actually looks like. And the simplest way that we can sum it up is our job is to add value to people in whatever we do. And sometimes that looks like doTERRA, sometimes it's other things, but specifically with doTERRA, we start a lot of times the process by giving somebody a sample that's applicable to something their family is dealing with, because we want them to really experience doTERRA and experience the power of therapeutic essential oils and natural products. And then after somebody's had a good experience, we normally invite them into a learning opportunity where we continue to offer value and teach them about something they're likely not very familiar with. And we do this in so many ways within our business. And I love it because it really gives you some flexibility to do it in a way that feels most authentic to you. But yeah, we answer a lot of questions. We help people have experiences. We support both our customers and our leaders on our team. And we personally really value systems. Systems not meaning that everything is just plug and play, but more it's a proven way, a way that we found a lot of success with our team to be able to nurture someone along the way. And it takes a lot of the questioning out. You still can personalize it for you, but it's a guided process. And we have a lot of resources that go that you can take in with you that are going to extend beyond you as your customer digs into that resource. So again, the coolest part of this work is that you get to choose your goals. We have our goals, and together we can partner with you and support you in going for your goals. And really on our team and in doTERRA as a whole, there's a lot of room and encouragement to collaborate, which is such a gift and makes the work a lot lighter and a lot more fun.
So as I mentioned earlier on that big chart, you can kind of choose which path you would like to take with doTERRA, whether it's, you choose your own, you choose your goal, you choose your speed. But I did want to mention this one opportunity that is really unique and really amazing at this time that doTERRA is offering. It's called, as you can see, Founders Club 2.0. And in a nutshell, Founders Club 2.0, that lends you to believe that there is a Founders Club like 1.0 or an original Founders Club, which you would be correct. And what doTERRA does, anytime they open a new market, so when doTERRA started in the US, they did this, and every country that they open in subsequently, they have also done a Founders Club. It's basically an additional incentive, a competition of sorts, but its purpose is to grow a market quickly and to establish some really great leaders in that market to support the whole rest of the market. So the original founders in the US, there's 25 of them, and what they earn, or what the benefit of being a founder is getting a share of a percent of the revenue for the company for the entire year in that market. So those original 25 founders are getting 1%, a 1/25th share of 1% of a more than $1 billion company in the US, which is significant. When doTERRA crossed the $1 billion mark, and I think this is such a great example of the culture and the heart of doTERRA. When doTERRA crossed that $1 billion mark, those original 25 founders came together on their own voluntarily and decided and told doTERRA, we'd like to give up the growth on our founders' checks. Because when we believe that when we've been blessed, instead of building a taller fence, we should build a bigger table. So that's what they're doing, is making more room at the table. Now that doTERRA is beyond $1 billion in the US, they are starting a Founders Club 2.0. And instead of 25 spots, there are 200 spots. And they just announced this past summer. And 5 spots are taken so far. So there's still 195 spots remaining. And really, so the numbers, what this boils down to is, if doTERRA gets to a $2 billion company in the US, which I personally believe they will be a $50 billion company someday. So when they get to a $2 billion company, if you have earned one of these 200 spots, that would be the equivalent of an additional $100,000 a year, additional, like on top of the normal compensation plan, just by earning one of these spots. So if that's something you want to talk more about, definitely willing to have that conversation.
So this screen shows a lot of different leaders on our team. And one thing that's unique that I'll point out before Callie shares a bit more is that all of these people on the screen have not ever done network marketing before. There are people that were attracted into doTERRA primarily because they aligned so much with the product and they love it so much.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is that most of these people didn't go to school for marketing or sales. And I didn't go to school for marketing or sales, and neither did either of the Tiggises. And so it's amazing to me that our love of the product and our education, self-seeking education, but plus what the company offers it's there. We have so many resources. I would say one of the greatest strengths and gifts of Kristen and Tyler Tiggis, though, just the way they collaborate with one another. I don't know if you've seen even just the way they work. They are so well synchronized. They are very, very different, and they bring something unique to their business and their table, for sure. But they are brilliant at creating not just systems, because systems almost sounds like it's something that you have to do. They create these opportunities to invest in yourself. So I'm specifically thinking about how they get people so excited about incorporating a new cleanse and restore into their lifestyle. And as they get excited about incorporating this and doing it in their lifestyle, they can't help but share it with other people. And it's wildly successful. So if you think about it, really, sales is just a transfer of enthusiasm. And they are really good at doing that. And they've been able to do it and replicate it and do it and replicate it. And they're constantly growing in this area. And basically, as they do this, they're creating like the food that they want to eat on their plate. And they're just letting all of these other people eat off their plate while they do it. So I think that the trainings that they do for their team, they do personally, and then for their team, everyone that's on their team is so blessed with so many resources. And I just don't see an end to that when it comes to the Tiggises, because it's really who they are. It's how God created them.
Thanks so much, Callie. We're so thankful for her, and we talk all the time about how the greatest gift that Callie gave me personally was the gift of believing in myself and stepping into what God had called me to with confidence and in my own way. And it's been such a gift that has been brought out primarily through our work together in doTERRA. So we really, really love it. And we wanted to end by just telling you all, thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. And whoever invited you here tonight, if it was us, we'll be following up and connecting with you one-on-one to hear your questions, process through if this could be a good fit for you. And if it is, we're thrilled. And if it's not, no problem. But either way, we're honored that you took time to listen in and to be with us tonight. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your night.